Hi, I'm Amy Knoetze from Pulse Diagnostic and Knoetze. We are launching a really exciting new diagnostic tool, and we are talking to Dr. Costa today all about measured wellness.
Hi, Amy. Yeah, I've been a patient for the last 15 years, and I was always looking at people, and we worked with a lot of athletes and corporates and companies, and we all speak about wellness, and I always ask, well, who's measuring it? We're doing wellness, we taking good cards, we taking a whole lot of supplements, and we're going on the infrared saunas and so on. And I ask the question, is it actually working? And when we talk about stress in companies, are we actually measuring it? And what's the effect of stress on our bodies on a daily basis? And this led me to search, to find solutions to wellness and how do we measure it. And then I came upon this technology about 10 years ago, and which originally started in Russia in the late 1950s. And what was the impetus for developing this technology is that they were putting pilots into fighter planes. And they asked themselves the question, well, how do we know they're in the state to fly it or not? Okay. And we wanted to know today, if I'm going to let you fly a plane today, I want to know what's your state of mind. Can your brain handle it? Can your body handle it? And a lot of the tests were done. You do a test now, and a week later, the body's changed, so that test is actually useless. And that put this sort of model together. And the important aspects that we really needed to measure was where's your brain at? That controls your body. And we talk about mental well-being and mental health. We need to measure the brain. That's our starting point. The second one is we have something called the autonomic nervous system. So the autonomic nervous system is exactly what it says. It's autonomic, it's automatic nervous system. And that's how we run our bodies. So our bodies run themselves every day. You don't think about breathing or how my heart must beat and whatever it is. Your body just does it. And the autonomic nervous system has two important systems, and the one's called the sympathetic nervous system. And we talk about fight and flight. So that's when you're going to fight the lion, and the adrenaline comes up and the cortisol comes up. And the lion either kills you or you run away.
But this is something people feel in like everyday life now.
Absolutely. So our lions are load shedding or paying the rent at the end of the month. Now, and the body can't distinguish between the lion around you and the stress that one has in one's family or where the body responds in the same way, and with high adrenaline and high cortisol. And we'll say, well, so what does that mean? That means that if you're in a fight-like state and high adrenaline and high cortisol, you're going to have high inflammation. And that's what causes disease.
And they call it inflammaging. That's what we refer to it in a sort of medical setting.
And that's exactly what it is. What's also important is the other side of the spectrum, your parasympathetic nervous system, which is what we call your rest and digest. So that's what your body needs to do. Switch off the adrenaline, switch off the cortisol, and start doing the regeneration.
If that's what happens when you sleep.
Yes.
Okay, so that's like your beauty sleep.
Exactly. That's why sleep is so important. But here's the conundrum. If you're living in fight-flight, you can't sleep. If you correct the autonomic nervous system, you'll be able to sleep. So that's why this is so important. And 80% of people we test now are in fight-flight, and they stay there all the time. And that's the problem, because they don't shift out.
When we started doing our training with this, the buzz around the training and really what pricked my interest was it measures your mitochondria.
Mitochondria are your energy factories. They produce all the energy in your body. The thing is, those energy factories get compromised by stress. And when they get damaged, they don't just recover. You need to do something to help them recover. And energy and healing go together. If you do not have energy, you cannot heal. You cannot regenerate, or it won't be optimal, and therefore you age faster. And what we're finding is that when you improve mitochondria, people's sort of illnesses start disappearing, their bodies start recovering better, they don't get that ill. So, and I've been talking about mitochondria for 10 years, and now it's become the buzzword. The good thing about it is that it's easy to fix. You don't have to spend millions. It's looking at nutrition, more oxygen into our system, taking your shoes off, walking barefoot on the ground, right? And also balance the autonomic nervous system. We've got Mother Earth that we're just not using. we're disconnected from it.
So if we can actually measure if what the patient's actions that they take is going to make a difference.
Absolutely, you can see changes in 2 weeks. But how we normally go is when we test people, we put them into pools. Red being, okay, your physiology is really struggling. Yellow, well, it's under pressure, and you need to maybe look at it, and then green is you're okay. So, and if I've seen someone in the red, we'll say, okay, listen, let's go and do this for 2 weeks. You're not going to shoot the lights out. I'm going to teach you a breathing technique. I want you to walk barefoot 15 minutes in 2 weeks' time. And invariably, you'll see it.
You'll see a difference.
Yeah.
It's so interesting because, even with collagens, for instance, there's so many different types of collagens on the market. There's so many different types of vitamin C on the market. So many different types of lion's mane and magnesiums, and it's like, what really works? You've done the test with me, and it was quite interesting. You said my scores were really good, and then at the end you thought my mitochondria was going to be amazing, and it was awful, right? And I was like, that's why I've been feeling so tired for so long. But what actually happened? So you measure the brain waves. It's like an ECG that's happening as well.
So we do an EEG of the brain, electroencephalogram. So we're looking at the frequencies of the brain.
But you said something to me about you could see how fast my thoughts
Could reset. So in other words, can your brain reset for the next load? So we can actually check that.
Now, when you do these tests, so you did everything, you did all the measurements, that's actually getting sent off to the UK. And then that will then be, you will get a full report that will be emailed out, and then I can give that to my
So we get an instant report within seconds. And the person that's doing the testing can already advise on some interventions. And then I think in about 2 months' time, we'll have actually instant reporting as well.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
My patients are going to love it. I love it. My patients are going to love it. So I know it's going to do really well in Pulse.